Welcome back, everyone. We're on page 3 now of Fall Festival. So I made a new pocket page. This was, like I showed in the first video, 8.5 by 7 3/4, and you put these together. So before I do anything, I want to label page 3 and page 4. Okay, so page 3, there are 5 different flaps we're going to cut. So hopefully you can see this better. The other lighter paper did not work out that well, but your A flap is going to be 7 7/8 by 6 1/2. So that's probably our most common size. So it's 2 lines before 8. B is 7 7/8 by 6 3/8, and that's 2 lines less than 6 1/2. C is 7 7/8 by 4 1/8, so 2 lines more than 4. D is 7 7/8 by 4. E is a pocket, so that is 8 5/8, so that's 2 lines more than 8 1/2 by 4 1/4. So just write those down, hit pause, and then we'll score our flaps together. Okay, so bring out my scoreboard. Now, let me put all my flaps in order. Okay, so the A flap is a left-hand flap, and we're going to score this with the 6 1/2 inch side facing the top. So that's our shorter side, and we'll just score line right down there. Okay, B, we're going to score this a 1/2 inch with the 6 3/8 side at the top. All right, C is, it's our 4/8 one, so let me see. That's a 1/2 inch with the 4 1/8 at the top. D is got the 4 inch side at the top. And finally we have our pocket. So the open end, which is our longest end, is at the top. And let's get tape on all of this. All right. So I hope everyone is enjoying their summer. I have been out and about, so I haven't had as many books this summer, but I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit and have some more coming out soon. So in a week we'll have the bonus album, and then I will do something a few weeks after that. So actually, if there's any suggestion on a theme, I could look in my stash. I have a huge paper stash, and I can see what to do. I am not sure if anyone is interested in wedding albums, but let me know, and I will see what I can do. All right, so let's press this all down and fold them. And I just wrote in pencil which ABC, which one is which. So let's cut our pocket. Okay, so now we have our pocket page. I've got my 3 up here, and let's start with the A flap. The A piece is a left-hand flap, so I'm going to turn it where my 3 is facing me. So again, I'm just going to have a little bit of space at the left and right, which is our top and bottom, and I'm going to just pull this down, guiding it with my thumbs, and it's right to the bottom edge here. Okay, B is a left flap topper. It goes on top of this flap. So it's going to go right like this. And if I'm to the edge here of my A flap, I just have a little bit showing right there, which is what I want. I don't want it right up to the edge because this is going to be on our spine and we're going to be turning the page, and I just don't want that edge to fray. So that's why this is just a wee bit shorter than the A flap. I am also, before I nail this down, you could do it after too, but I want to put a little corner here so that you can see the paper underneath, and that way the person will know that it's something to lift up and it's a flap to flip. So here we go. I'll put something down right there. Well, it's laying down pretty nice. So I'm just going to put this right to the edge. So I'm looking left and right to make sure I'm lined up with that A flap, and just bringing it right to the edge. Okay, and there's a little space right there. So I am happy with that. All right, now these other flaps are going to be similar. So let's see, the C flap is the one that's a little bit bigger. So I want to make sure I have the right one. This one. Okay, so this goes on the right. Let's see. Okay. And then this one is going to go like this, right on top of it. So for this one, I want just a little corner rounding again, so you can see, the person can see that they're supposed to do something there, and flip it over. So I'm going to have this down there for now. Try to weigh that down a little bit. Peel this backing off. And let's put this right here. Okay, so I've got it looking left and right. It is lined up. I'm using my thumb and my fingernail to feel that edge of that C flap and gently put that down. And if there's a little bit showing at the edge, it's okay because it'll just look like a nice outline. You sometimes want to outline things in black anyway, but it should be right up to that edge for the most part. Okay, so let's see. Here we go. Like it, and the last thing we do is put in our pocket. See, this one looked more complicated than it really is, which is nice. You want it to be not too bad. Yet look really nice. So got my pocket here, and I'm just leaving a little bit of space on either side so that my left and right flaps can go over it. And just guide it right down to the bottom. Perfect. You must be pros by now. Get used to all these measurements. Okay, and now all we have to do is put our magnets down. All right, so let me double check here what I have. We also need a little piece. Save one of your little pieces of black cardstock, and we're going to take one of our ephemera cards and we're going to put it right over here. So just pick a scrap, a little scrap, and we will set that aside for the time being. And let me see. Well, first thing is let's put a magnet on either side of here. No right or wrong way to put this tape. I'm just putting it in the corner because I have a little more space there. All right. And then I'll fold that over. And then I am going to take another one of my big magnets. It's not a bad idea to have a pack of this. It will last you a while. Mainly I use the small ones, but I do use these big ones sometimes. I think it was just this page and that last one that I used the big one. And we'll save these two for another album. Okay, now we would like to put two on the edge of here. So I've got 2 going here. Yep. Sorry about that. All right. I tried to keep track of how many packages I used this album. Might be at least 5. I'm not sure. Like I said, if you want, you can get them in bulk without the sticky. I'm trying to be as cost effective as I can, which is why the bonus album, that's going to be using a Recollections packet that I got at Michael's, and it wound up being on sale for $7, so that will be a nice, it won't be very expensive book because you'll just use the rest of your black cardstock. You should have enough for both albums. So that book won't be too expensive. And I will do that. And basically all my books, if you like the design of it and either you can't find the paper or, you know, some of these papers are expensive, you can use other papers. Absolutely. When I design them, I do design them with whatever paper pack, you know, I go around that particular paper, but that's not to say you can't use a different paper pack in the album. All right, so let's see how this is. There, everything holds down. This flap right here doesn't need a magnet to go here and then on top of here, because just the weight of this and will hold it down, and this flap with the big magnet will hold it down. So you do not need to put extra magnets over here unless you really want to, but you really shouldn't need to do that. But this is going to be a nice roomy page. We'll have our whole scene on here that's common in this pack, which I am about to show you right now, how I decorated this. Okay, and don't forget the ephemera card's going to go right on top of here when you pick out which card you want to go there. So I will show you what I did. Okay, so page 3, this burlap stripy paper, it just looks really cool. It's the back side of one, I forget which design it is. So with that in mind, I chose the one with the candle because it has that same stripe paper there, and I thought that looked nice. This flap does fold over this way. So what you do is you put this on first and then put your ephemera card, put some score tape over here and at the top, but take your black cardstock and draw a line, you know, before you glue it down, draw a little line of where it's going to come up to, and that's where you put your tape. And then you don't want too much sticking out because we want this to tuck under. If you have too much sticking out, then it won't tuck under. So let me measure this and tell you what I did. And you can test it out too. You know, hold it there and before you glue it down and see if it flips over. But let me just tell you real quick that this is, it looks like it's 1 3/4, maybe a little bit more. So all that's sticking out right here is 1 3/4, maybe a line more, and that's it. So I just thought that looks really nice. Go like that, and then that whole thing opens, and on the other side I do have that same paper. For this paper, I have my bench with the welcome home and a candle. We used that one other time before. You're going to have 4 of each design. But when you open this, you get the whole scene. And so that's why I made this flap. It was designed with this paper in mind. So I just think that looks really good like that. And again, what you would do in this case is you draw your, I drew my pencil mark on the paper, pretty much cut right to the edge of the table, and then drew a pencil mark here, and then take that paper, move it to here, and then make a line to wherever that lands. And it landed pretty much to the edge of that table. So that's how I did that. I just have brown on this side because it matched with the burlap over here. I have, this is a leftover piece I had. It's got the top of the table here. And then I have a book that I made out of one of the tags. And these are leftovers. Okay, so that is page 4. I mean 3. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's page 3. The pullout, I chose a yellow to match with these acorns and leaves. And our next video, we are on to page 4.